Hello, everybody.
Children, let's start today a poem titled Stammer by Sachidananda. Have you heard about this poet? Here is a brief profile about him. Let's read.
K. Sachidanandan, born in 1946 in Kerala, is an Indian poet writing in Malayalam and English. He is known as a pioneer of modern poetry in Malayalam. He is also a critic, columnist, translator, and the former secretary of the Kendra Sahitya Akademi. As an intellectual upholding secular democratic views, he supports causes like environment, human rights, and free software. His lectures and articles on issues concerning contemporary Indian literature are thought-provoking. He was shortlisted for the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2011.
Now, what is stammer? Yeah, it is a type of speech impediment or a speech disorder. But here the poet, he is interpreting this stammer differently, in a different way. Actually, this poem is about different views. In our society, we all know everything is viewed upon differently. Everything is decided upon different perspectives and outlook. A same thing can be differently interpreted. Everything is based upon our perspectives. In the poem itself, we are going to read a type of different perspectives. Poet Sachidanandan is giving a different different type of definition to stammer. In the poem itself, before you start reading, here given Abraham Lincoln's words. Read it. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorn bushes have rose. This same rose plant, it acts differently. Okay, for some time it becomes the matter of and also it becomes the matter of sorrows. Anyway, it is based upon our perspectives. So that is what we are going to read in the poem Stammer. Here is a highly philosophical type of thought is presented. Sometimes after reading the poem, we have to think this is reflecting the present situation of the society, our attitude towards certain issues. The poet Sachidanandan, through this poem, tries to bring out this social phenomena. What actually we find in the society, there are a number of issues here happening here and there. Okay, so majority of the people, majority here in the society keep silence towards burning issues, against burning issues. They are not trying to act or react. So they preserve to be silent. Why? They are not trying to bring a type of change here. So here is a type of silence everywhere. So this silence, that is a type of tragedy, like according to the poet. Right. So when we see these types of situations in the society, even there are existing a number of atrocities or burning issues, social evils, number of social evils. So if we are not trying to act, or if we are not trying to prevent it, what will be the consequences we all know. So it is generally thought that or believed that whenever we see a type of evil or a mistake, we have to do our level best to prevent or wipe all these things out of the society. Okay, so if we are not doing such things, what will be the situation? As we mentioned earlier, we cannot have a good society here. Okay. Now, through this poem, we are going to have such reflections. After reading, it will be clear. I think let's start this poem. First stanza. Try to read and feel with the poet's feeling. Right. Stammer is no handicap. It's a mode of speech. Stammer is the silence that falls between the word and its meaning. Just as lameness is the silence that falls between the word and the deed. Did stammer precede language or succeed it? Is it only a dialect or a language itself? These questions make the linguist stammer. Each time we stammer, we are offering a sacrifice to the god of meanings. When a whole people stammer, stammer becomes their mother tongue. Just as it with us now. God too must have stammered when he created man. That is why all the words of man carry different meanings. That is why everything he utters, from his prayers to his commands, stammers, like poetry. So, first two lines in this poem, here very simply presented. Stammer is no handicap, it's a mode of speech. To the poet, it is not at all a handicap or a shortcoming. See, it is a mode of speech. Poet tries to give a different definition to stammer. That is his perspective. When we see stammer is a type of handicap or a speech disorder, he interprets, he is giving a type of different viewpoint. It is not a handicap, but it's a mode of speech, a type of speech, a way of speech. We all know speech, the purpose of speech is what? Communication. There are different modes of communication. We have a speech. A speech is a type of communication. We have writing, we have gestures. As such, stammer is also a type of speech, a mode of speech, a type of speech. Got it? Now, after considering this speech, after taking stammer is a mode of speech, poet wants to justify what he is giving his ideas. Let us see in the next stanza. It is the silence. It is the silence that falls between the word and its meaning. See, silence between. When we start speaking or when we want to express our ideas to someone else, what's the process? Have you ever thought of this process going with us? See, when we want to communicate others, we want to take these words, apt words, suitable words for communication, for expressing our thoughts. Right? As we all know, language, when we start speaking language, what will be the different sentences, and all these sentences are basically, we all know this, all these sentences are framed having different words. So once we want to communicate others, we have to choose apt words for this, right? So there will be a type of process going on. Okay, so once we want to express our ideas or thoughts, there is this thinking process, and there is this process that comes as a silence, depending upon individuals. Sometimes we think and get these words very fast. So the communication also will be done fast. For some others, they take some time. Right. Suppose you think a situation. If anybody asks you any question, okay. If you are asked to speak about a topic suddenly, somebody asks you some question suddenly. So if the answer is not easy, there will be this type of situation happening with us. What will be the situation? We try to think a bit of time. So there this silence comes, and this silence is a stammer. So stammer is a silence between words and meaning. Right. Now he also says he compares as lameness. So stammer is like lameness. Is the silence that falls between the word and deed. So lameness, see, difficulty for walking straight. Lameness, right? So those having this problem, they cannot walk. They cannot walk properly. So there again becomes this problem. What problem? Slowness comes. Silence like. So words and deeds. How lameness is silence that falls between word and the deed. The same way silence, stammer is also a silence between words and meaning. Right. So words and deeds, that is lameness. Don't be confused. Silence is stammer is the silence between words and meaning. Like lameness is the silence between words and deeds. So words and deeds, see here we have to think there is another type of viewpoint. What actually this is? Once we speak, we all know in our society number of people, and even including ourselves, right? It is very easy to speak about everything. But once we want to put into practice, it takes some time, or for some it is very serious also. They cannot promise, they cannot fulfill their words. So words and deeds are not going smoothly. Not happening smoothly. Speak something, but act in a different way. So words and deeds are not going smoothly. That situation we see here. So those who speak a number of, now you see we have these type of examples in the society, especially during election campaign. Politicians, they come and give number of promises to us. Right. But what happens then? Means after the election is over, sometimes most of these promises remain unfulfilled or not done. So this is the situation. So words and deeds are not going each other. This is the right example we come across in the society. So there is the steps of lameness. Like lameness means unable to move here, unable to walk. Lameness. So difficulty will be there. So poet wanted to give us this situation seen in the society. People they speak something, and when they want to put into practice, they become failures. Right. So this is the idea presented by this stanza. Now again, poet wants to say, did stammer precede a language or succeed it? After poet presented stammer is a mode of speech, then he asked this question, a rhetorical question like. This is a rhetorical question. In a speech or a poem, writers or speakers, they ask questions to the audience. The purpose of these questions are arousing suspense of the readers or listeners. So poet asks this way: did stammer precede? Precede means come before language, or succeed it, or come after succeed. Is it only a dialect or a language? Dialect means regional variation of the language. So, or a language itself. These questions make linguists stammer. Means linguists even cannot answer these questions. So they also have silence. They cannot speak. So there it comes. So stammer comes to the linguist even. It is not a handicap. So he wants to prove his idea. Then next stanza he says, each time we stammer we are offering a sacrifice to the god of meanings. So stammer is a general phenomenon. It is not a handicap. That is what poet wanted to communicate. So he even goes speaking this way. Poet is telling that whenever we stammer, so there is then a blessing like, right? We are offering a sacrifice to the god of meanings. Sacrifice, sacrifice to God. See, to the god of meanings, different beliefs. We have seen, or we have heard that there are different types of beliefs. So god of meaning, അർത്ഥങ്ങളുടെ ദൈവങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്നാണ് ഇതിൽ മലയാളം നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത്. So god of meanings. So means whenever we stammer, means whenever think about expressing our ideas, choosing different words. So we'll be thinking and trying to find out different words. So this time we are giving a sacrifice to god of meanings. That way this is a type of offering like. Got it? Just for the sake of understanding, I give another situation. See, suppose you see, once you are giving a type of publicity. What type of publicity? A book. Okay, a book is written by some of our friends, and you would like to make others know about all these books. And once you speak about these books, what happens? Others also are attracted to buy it, and thereby you make them buy that friend's book. So what will happen here? Indirectly, you are giving a type of gift or compliment to the author or to the writer of the book. Got it? So you are doing a type of compliment or gift to this writer. The same way, God gave us language. God created people, and human beings are provide or given this type of language for expressing our ideas. Okay, so when we start expressing, or when we start speaking, we have to express our ideas to others. So what happens there? We will be trying to find out number of words. So this way, God of meanings, will be pleased. So that way we are doing a type of sacrifice. So that way you think. Clear? So here it is a type of sacrifice. So stammer is a sacrifice. It is not a handicap. Okay. Then when a whole people stammer becomes the mother tongue. How can you tell, or how can you speak stammer is a handicap? Once the society, the entire community, stammers, what happens? There the stammer becomes their mother tongue. This type of speech becomes their mother tongue. So there is a type of generalization happening. So stammer is not at all a handicap, because just as it is with us now, you see, we have that type of feeling with us. It is easy to follow the current. What is seen in the society, people directly try to imitate. So when all people are stammering, means stammer is there in the society or with them. So that is not a different thing. So they follow with the trend, or they follow with the system. So that is what, just as it is with us now. Stammer is there in that society or in that system. That way it becomes their mother tongue. It's not a handicap. Then the last stanza, poet even goes to, somewhat in an extent what actually God too have stammered when he created man. Sometimes you might have heard when God wanted to create people or human beings, he had a type of thought. What type of thought? He asked angels about it. Like that, sometimes you might have heard all these stories related to religion. So that means all other creations were easy. When he wanted to create human beings, there came a type of slowness or thinking. And this way, poet concludes commenting that God also, must have stammered. That is why all the words of man carry. So God's attributes, Creator's attributes, Creator had this stammer when he created human beings. So that quality of Creator is expressed were on his creations, that is on people. Got it? Then that is why everything he utters from his prayers to his command stammers. So that is the reason when we even stammer when we utter prayers. Got it? Like poetry, he compares these different types of speaking or uttering to God or expressing our prayers to the poetry. Here is a simile like poetry. Why? You all know a poetry is interpreted differently. The same poem can be interpreted differently by different readers. Why it is possible? Why is it possible? Because of the language. When we want to express our ideas or our feelings, there are number of words existing in a language. So we'll be trying to get all these words. That way there are different types of situations or chances. So this way there are different types of interpretations in poetry. So we can express we can express the same thing differently. So this is possible. In short, the poem presented this type of different perspectives seen with people. Got it? And we have to read from the first to last and follow the idea directly presented by the poet and also the implied message that we discussed in the beginning. See, poet wanted to make readers bothered about this silence, society that we find in the society. People's silence. They don't want to react to the social burning issues. They are not trying to act against these types of social evils. So this silence is prevalent, existing. So this is expressed by the poet through this poem. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now we have to answer all these questions. Now let us do one by one. After answering these questions, again you will have number of viewpoints, or you will have number of ideas that will help you to write any type of questions asked from this poem in your examination. Okay, right. Now let's do these activities.
Question number 1. What does the poet think of stammer primarily? The poet thinks primarily that stammer is not handicap, it is a mode of speech. Number 2. How does the poet link stammer and lameness beautifully to silence? The poet beautifully links stammer and lame to silence by saying that stammer is the silence that falls between the word and its meaning, just as lameness is the silence that falls between the word and the deed. Number 3. What, according to the poet, is a person doing when he stammers? When he stammers, he is offering a sacrifice to the god of meanings. When a whole people stammer, it becomes their mother tongue. 4. Why does the poet refer to the linguist here? The poet refers to the linguist here because, in his opinion, stammer itself is a language. A linguist is the one who is skilled in the science of language. 5. When does stammer become a social phenomena? Stammer becomes a social phenomena when a whole people stammer because it then becomes their mother tongue. Stammer here represents the collective inability to do good things, just like persons who stammer can't speak properly and the lame can't walk properly. 6. Pick out the lines you particularly like and discuss them with a partner. I particularly like the lines God too must have stammered when he created man. These lines are pregnant with a lot of meaning. It means that God created man not when he was in a state of perfection, but when he was in a state of imperfection. That's why man, who is supposed to be the highest creation of God, is so imperfect, with so many defects. When the Creator is not perfect, the creature can't be perfect too. 7. Do you think that the words just as it with us now refer to our response to burning social issues in general? Why? I definitely think that the words just as it is with us now refer to our response to burning social issues in general. We all are stammering, unable to bring out our meanings clearly, and we all are walking like the lame as we don't do the things we ought to do. The country is in the grip of poverty, disease, and unemployment. But our leaders stammer when it comes to solutions of these burning issues. They divert people's attention from real things, real problems, by talking about religions, ideologies, and such invisible things. The lame people follow the lame leaders who stammer all the way. 8. Which comparison in the poem do you like the most? Why? I like the comparison of man's prayers and commands to poetry. The words of man carry different meanings, and so whatever he utters, even his prayers and commands carry different meanings to different people. A poem has different meanings to different people. The poet may say something, but the reader interpret in different ways. What is a blog? Blog is a shortened form of weblog. It is a personal website which contains posts on any subjects. While writing a blog, you have to keep these points. Set up the layout. Mention the day and date, blogger's name at top. Give a title. Provide relevant information in subsequent paragraphs. Use plain and direct language. Show clock at the end. With the help of your teacher, create a class blog and upload your thoughts about this poem titled Stammer. 20th June 2015. We read the poem Stammer by K. Sachidanandan intensely and had some elaborate discussions on its theme, content, and message. The poem is not easy to understand because of its highly complex imagery, but once we get to know its meaning properly, we begin to realize how profound the ideas are. Stammer, Sachidanandan asserts, is a language in itself. The question whether stammer came before the language or after it is highly amusing. We are reminded of the joke attributed to the late E.M.S. Namboodiripad, who used to stammer. One interviewer asked him if he stammered always. EMS Namboodirippa replied, "Not always, only when I speak." The interviewer asked the question because there is a feeling that fear, stage fright, suppressed emotions, etc., trigger stammer. Sachidanandan does not seem to give much honor to God because he has said that perhaps he even stammered when he created man. God is reputed to be omnipotent, and one can't imagine that God can stammer. The poet thinks that man is so imperfect and full of while may be because God stammered while creating man. We agree with the poet in his verdict. Sachidanandan has the knack of hitting the nail on the head. He speaks great things using just a few words. An ordinary person might have taken a whole lengthy essay to say what Sachidanandan has said in a few short lines. The poet's insight and imagination are extraordinary. The poem opens our eyes and we start seeing stammer in a different perspective. Read the following lines from the poem Stammer and answer the questions given below. When a whole people stammer, stammer becomes the mother tongue, just as it is with us now. Identify the speaker of these lines. What attitude of the poet is revealed here? What does the poet mean by stammer here? The poet is K. Sachidanandan. The attitude of the poet is that we all stammer because it has become our mother tongue. It means we are not able to tell the truth freely. We are afraid to open our minds. Stammer here means silence against burning social issues. We are afraid to open our mouths and speak our thoughts freely. In the poem, stammer has a figurative meaning. Here, stammer is the silence that the society keeps even when social evils are rampant. As the people are afraid of the reaction of certain sections, they tend to turn a blind eye even to the malpractices that are going in the society. In the poem, stammer is the sign of cowardice or pusillanimity.